everyone. Welcome to VMS class. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the very first data type, int data type in Python. Int data type in Python. So in the previous lesson, we have seen the overview of all the data types, right? Integer, float, string, boolean, complex, string. Multiple data types we have seen. Let us go in detail about this int data type. If we take any application, let's take the banking application. You are going to store the data, account balance, which we are going to store some number. If we take online shopping website. So in this, you are going to store the product quantity, how much quantity, whether it is 1, 2, 3, and so on. I want to store the student roll number, a school management system. The numbers are starting from 1, 2, 3, and so on. The roll numbers. Okay. The roll numbers are registration numbers or something like this 1, 2, 3, like that. So, in all these cases, we are going to work with the whole numbers. Okay. We are going to work with the whole numbers. So, in Python, these values are going to be stored using the integer data type. Okay. In Python, all these values are going to stored in the form of integer data type. Okay. First, let us see what is an integer. What is an integer? An integer is a whole number without a decimal point. Okay. An integer is a whole number without a decimal point. The points will not be there. Okay. It can be a negative value. It can be a negative value. It can be a positive value, or it can be 0 also, but without decimal points. So if we take 10, it is an integer. If I take 250, it is an integer. If I take a negative number 45, it is an integer. If we take 0, it is also an integer. So all of these are integers. Okay. All of these are belongs to the int data type. Now in Python, how can you create it and how to see the type of these integers? So let us go to the ideally, I am going to create a variable age equal to 22. You can print age 22, type of age. You can see that it is a integer. Okay, it is a integer. Now let us take the employee ID equal to some number 150. Now you can print the employee underscore ID. It will print 150. The type of employee underscore ID is nothing but again integer. Let us take the temperature. The temperature can be negative also, right? -8. If you print the temperature, it will display -8. What is the type of this temperature? It is again integer data type. Okay. Now I am taking the value that is equal to 0. Temp equal to 0. In this case, temp is 0. Type of temp, it is again integer only. Okay. All these are integers. And when you are assigning a value to any variable, you need to explicitly specify it is an integer. By default, based upon this number, Python automatically identifies these values are integers. Okay. For this, we are going to use the type function here. The type function confirms that the value is stored as an integer. In all these examples, the value is stored as an integer. Okay, so like this you can use or create a integer variable and you can store the data into that variable. Okay, so let me take one simple program. I want to perform the sum of three different subject marks. Okay, maths equal to 95, science equal to some number 88, English equal to some number 80. You can notice that all these are integer values only. If you do the addition, total equal to maths plus science plus English. Again, the sum of all these integers is nothing but again an integer only. Let me print this output here. The sum is 263. Okay, 263. And I want to see the type of this print, type of this result. The sum of all these integers is nothing but again an integer. You can perform various operations like sum, subtraction, multiplication. If you do multiplication here, multiplication of the int values will produce again an integer value only. Okay, but the division can produce another kind of value. Try to understand, if I do some kind of division anywhere, okay, anywhere, let me print the result here. Now you can see that it is going to take a decimal point 104.5, but this is now a float category. Okay, when you do addition, subtraction, multiplication, it is going to produce the int only, but when you do any kind of division, then it may produce the decimal fraction. Okay, like this you can do any kind of arithmetic operations on the integer variables. Okay, let me take how we can use this in the inventory management. I have some stock equal to 250. How many sold? Equal to, let me take 48 sold. What are the remaining? Okay, remaining items equal to the full stock minus sold items. Print the remaining stock is remaining. Now here in this case I am going to perform the subtraction between two integer numbers. So again the result is nothing but an integer number. Okay, like that you can use this integer data type. Okay, and we need to remember few important points here. The one thing, like other programming languages, if you take C, C++ and all, there are multiple variations of the int data type. Like we have long int, short int. Depending upon the number, we have different types of integers. But in Python, we have only one type of integer. If I take number equal to a very big number I am taking, okay, like this, a very big number. Now print number and print what is the type of this number. Now let us save this program and execute this. Now you can notice that it is still an int only. So Python prints the complete value. Okay, it is going to print the complete value without any overflow. It is not limiting to any particular numbers. Okay, this is one of the reason Python is popular, which can be useful for scientific computing and cryptography applications also. Okay, so you can notice that it is a integer type only. So it can accept any kind of or any size of the number. Okay, it can be very big or it can be zero also. Even it can be negative also. For example, I can take minus of this number, okay, negative of this number, save this, and still it is considered as int only. Okay, this is a very important point. Python integers. Okay, let me write this point. Point number one, Python integers have no fixed size. Okay, Python integers are not having any fixed size. You can take any big number, no problem. Okay, and in latest versions, the Python is allowing the underscore symbol also. I have population like this. Okay, now I have a number 145. Okay, 000000, something like this. Now population, print population and print type of population. Again, you can notice that it is a int only. Okay, when you execute this, it is going to get integer only. But what is the point I want to convey here? You can provide the underscores for the readability. For example, 1 underscore, okay, 450 underscore, 000 underscore, 000, like this. Python allows underscores inside this integer literals. It is acceptable. This kind of underscores will improve the readability of your program. And when Python is executing, it is ignoring all these underscores during the execution. So when you execute this, still it is valid. It will simply ignore the underscores. Okay, it is just for human readability. So even in the interviews, they may give this question. Sometimes students may feel that this kind of format is not acceptable. It may give the error. Okay, try to understand. It is perfectly valid in the Python. Okay, so let me write this program here in the notes. Save this. Point number two, it can read large numbers easily using the underscore symbol. Okay, it is valid. Okay, I have written the program here. Now, the integers can be represented in different number systems. Okay, be represented integers can be represented in different number systems. Integers can be represented in different number systems. So like we know there are different kinds of number systems like decimal number system, octal, binary, hexadecimal. All these are different kinds of number systems, right? The same integer, if I take a print of 25, this is a number, okay, decimal form. The same integer can be represented in multiple forms. For example, binary, it can be prefixed with 0b. Binary version, I am going to provide 11001. Okay. So now let us see what is this number is about. Okay. So this is also 25, but in the binary, okay, number system. Now if I want print of, I am going to use a 0o octal 31. So 31 is not basically a decimal which is prefixed with a 0o, that is again 25. So 25 can be represented in binary, it can be represented in octal, even it can be represented in a hexadecimal also, 0x, which denotes the hexadecimal system 19. So save this and execute this. Now you can notice that the same number can be represented in multiple forms. Okay, multiple number systems. Okay, here this 25 is, it is for decimal. It is helpful for the humans. So this is in the form of binary. 25 is represented in binary. So this is 25 represented in octal number system, and this 25 is represented in hexadecimal system. Okay, so if you want, you can try out small functions are there in Python. Okay, so I have 25. If you want, you can use a bin of 25, okay, which can provide you the binary version of this 25. So 0b 11001. If you want octal, you can use OCT of 25, so which will give you the octal number of 25. So we have written 0O31. If you want hexadecimal, hex of 25, so which will give you the 0x19. It means 25 is the decimal number. The hexadecimal version of this 25 is 0x19. Okay, so this feature is widely useful in the networking, even embedded systems also. Even we are going to use this in low level programming kind of thing. Okay, but very important, a number can be represented in multiple formats. So even you can note this kind of functions also, which can be very useful to convert any number to binary, octal, and hexadecimal versions. Okay, and even you can try to convert. So there is a function, integers can be converted. Okay, integers can be converted, okay, from floating point value to int value. Okay, floating point to int value. If I take any floating point number, I have price equal to 99.95 price. So print price and print type of price. You can notice this example. This is not integer. Okay, I don't want to mention the name, but I will show you. The point is, this number is having the decimal point. So it is not an integer. So what type of data it is? It is a float, right? It is a float data. Now I can convert this float data to integer using the typecasting. If I take here price equal to int of price, I am taking the price and typecasting using the int function, int of price. Then after I am printing the price, print of type of price. So here this is basically print before casting or typecasting. Okay, and this is print of after casting. I am converting this floating point number to the integer number. Now you can notice that before casting it is 99.95 and class is float, but after casting the value is 99 and it is of a integer type. So try to understand, it is not going to round it. It is just to remove this floating point value, or you can say it is going to remove the digits after this point. So that's why it is going to show you 99. So even it can work for the negative numbers also. If I take minus 12.75, save this and execute this. Now you can notice that minus 12.75 got typecasted to minus 12. It will just truncate the floating point digits. Okay. So even you can use this integers to represent the boolean also. Okay. The boolean values. Okay. Very important point. Booleans behave like integers. The booleans also represents the integer kind of thing. If I take true plus true, it will give you 2. So here true internally represented as 1. False is represented as 0. So this true plus true, it is 1 plus 1, 2. False is 0 plus true is 1. 0 plus 1, it is 1. So even this boolean values like true and false can be represented as integers. Okay. So we'll explain this concept when we are going to study about the boolean values. But still, you need to understand internally, true can be represented as a 1, false can be represented as 0. Okay, true can be represented as 1, false can be represented as 0. Okay, like this. And when you are writing this, so please try to use meaningful names for the variables. Okay, so it will give you very clear idea when you are going to use the variable names in the programs. Okay, now let us see some of the questions on int. What is an integer in Python? An integer is a whole number without a decimal point. It can be a positive number, negative number, or 0 also. Here we have examples. 10 is an integer, minus 25 is an integer, 0 is also an integer. Does Python limit the size of an integer? No, there is no fixed size. Python supports arbitrary precision integers, which means integers can grow as large as the available system memory allows. What is the output of int of 19.99? It is a typecasting kind of thing. The floating point number will be converted to integer. The output is 19. The int function removes the decimal part, truncates towards 0. It does not round the value. There is a separate round function also, but it is not rounding, it is just truncating the decimal part. Can underscores be used inside the integer values? Yes. Python allows underscores in integer literals to improve the readability. They do not affect the actual value. Population equal to 1 underscore 450 underscore 000 underscore 000. It's a valid statement only. Can integers be represented in binary and hexadecimal? The answer is yes. Python supports multiple number systems, which include the decimal, binary, octal, hexadecimal. The 25 can be represented in all these number formats. All represents the same integer value. What is the difference between 25 and double quotations 25 in Python? Try to understand. If you don't give the quotation, it is considered as an integer, while double quotations 25 is considered as a string. An integer can be used for mathematical calculation, whereas a string represents the text. If I do print of 25 plus 5, it will produce the output 30. But if you do 25 plus 5 in the form of a string, it will produce a 255. Basically, it is not number, it is again string. 25 plus 5 concatenated, it will merge, and 255 is in the form of a string again. Because the strings are concatenated, not added mathematically. Here we can do this. 25 plus 25, it is going to produce the 50 because both are integers. If I take 25 as a string plus 5 as a string, then it is going to produce a 255 in the form of a string. If you see the type of 255 here, it is not integer, it is a string. So here we are performing the mathematical addition, but here we are performing the string concatenation. Okay, thank you. I will see you in the next lesson.